Jimmy Horton is joining us this morning. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing good now that you're on the phone.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Jim. I know you're fighting at the bit here.
You had a pretty exciting weekend this weekend at the Orange County Fair Speedway with the Hard Clay Open, which is kind of the opening of the season. But the official opening is this weekend. But you had a sixth place finish. Is that kind of where you thought your car was going to be most of the day?
No, actually, we finished 11th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have. I thought we'd be a little bit better. I thought we had a top 5 car, but it didn't work out. So we got it home, and we're trying to make things a little bit better for this weekend. We're possibly going to bring my new car out for the opener here and see if we got something a little different.
Yeah, this weekend is kind of a special night, and there's a lot of different theme nights coming up at the Orange County Fair Speedway. I know they have a nostalgia night coming up later on in the season, but Saturday night they're paying a kind of a tribute to Carl Fuzzy Van Horn. Can you tell us a little bit about Carl?
Well, Carl was. He was a good friend of mine. When I first started racing, he was there, and he was kind of a leaning post for me. I would go ask him things, and he was kind of the rough and tough racer. He didn't take anything from any driver. You fed him a wheel, he's going to feed you too. He was old school. And actually, it's funny because Carl gave me my first modified ride. I was running a sportsman car at Nazareth, and at the time, you could qualify 2 cars. He qualified the 71E, and he was driving the 2A, and that was his main car. So he asked me, he says, "You want to drive my 71E?" And the feature, it had 420s. And he says, "Run it in the first one, just finish last, and you'll start on a pole in the second one, and you can win the second race." And that was the big joke, And hell, I led the thing for halfway, and I ended up finishing 4th or 5th. But yeah, Carl was special to me. He's a good guy, and I'm still good friends with Dave and his grandson David. We're friends, and it's going to be a neat deal. I wish I had a little bit more time. We'd get our car painted up his colors, but it didn't work out to where I had enough time to do it.
He was an iron worker as well, my understanding is, and he was kind of a tough guy, wasn't he? He was kind of a rough, tough character on the track.
Well, that's what I said. He was like a little bull. He was short, stocky, and he just sometimes scared you just to look at him.
And it's funny that he was that kind of person, yet his nickname was Fuzzy. Do you know how he got that nickname, Fuzzy?
No, I don't recall. I've heard, but I don't remember how he got that name.
Yeah. Now, he actually is in the Hall of Fame as well, in the Dirt Track Hall of Fame. He's won more than 100 features. Now, did you get an opportunity to race against him?
Oh, yeah. I raced against him for, I guess I went modified in 75, and then, I raced when Orange County. I started modified, and I raced against him there, and then usually the next day we went to Nazareth and raced against him there. So, yeah, I had a bunch of years we raced against each other.
So Saturday night at the Orange County Fair Speedway, it's the tribute to Carl Fuzzy Van Horn night. I think the hot laps get started around 6 o'clock, so you want to make sure that you get out there to see that. Now, Jimmy, there was some discussion after the race on Sunday about the track conditions at the Orange County Fair Speedway. How did you find the conditions of the track surface?
Well, it's almost it's a typical opening day type racetrack, and plus I thought we started way too early in the daytime, and it hurt the racetrack as far as drying it out too quick, and then we got a fine powdery dust most of the night. We couldn't get it calmed down. But, I think if they start later, where we don't have that sun beating on it, and, I know the guys are working on the track pretty hard all week to improve the conditions. So, we just got to let them do their work, and we'll do our work.
You've also raced in some of the other series. I know you raced in the ARCA series. I think you won numerous races in the ARCA series, and I think you've also run some in the NASCAR Grand National Series as well. I mean, what's the difference between running on dirt as opposed to on pavement? Do you have a preference, or?
Well, I like dirt racing. It's more exciting. I just felt asphalt racing was pretty boring. It's exciting. I don't want to say it's boring. It's just not as exciting as driving a dirt car.
You like to go sideways,
He
right?
likes to go a little sideways on the track. Yeah. We've talked about this before, but Jimmy, tell us about, he raced with the big guys. He raced with Dale Sr. and Davey Allison, everybody. Tell us about how unexciting Talladega 1993 was before they put the higher walls on Talladega. What happened to your car in that particular race?
Well, I went looking for some dirt.
And I think you found it.
That's great. I love that line.
Well, there was an accident. You got involved in it, and he actually went out of the racetrack, up over the wall, and the car wound up in a parking lot, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was just about to the camper section in turn one.
Did you get fed when you got there?
Yeah, there was I forget, it was Rick Mass, I think, and Kenny Wallace, and Stanley Smith. They were all crashing against the wall, and I thought I was safe on the bottom. I was actually almost on the apron, and I think it was Stanley Smith come down across the racetrack and just caught me in the back bumper and turned me.
And how fast were you going, Jimmy?
Well, at that time, you're probably running about, at that spot, you were probably running about almost 200.
Almost 200. People don't realize when you're going that fast and you have like a half inch around you and other cars, you get a tap, you're done.
When you were in that race, or when you guys were in that race, did you guys ever think that somebody could actually fly out of the racetrack?
No, we never thought about that,
But you had that thought when you were going over the what? I mean, do you remember? What were you thinking when the car went over the wall?
Did it hurt?
Did you say, "Oh man, this is going to hurt"?
Well, I didn't actually know I went out of the place until after we stopped and I got out and realized where the hell I was.
He had to pay admission to get back in the track.
Pretty much. That's why I asked the ambulance when we were driving back in. I said, "How are you going to get me back in?" My pit pass in the pit.
That's great. I love
Isn't that amazing? But luckily, you were not injured with that, and cars today are even safer than they were back then. So a lot of wild stuff going on.
Yeah, I was very lucky on that one. That car was tore up pretty good. The cage was down almost. Actually, roll cage was below the seat.
And actually, if you want to see that car, it's actually is it still in the Motorsports Hall of Fame there in Talladega? I think it is, right?
No, that car got. It was the guy who owned it toured it around a little bit. We went to different fairs and just kind of showed it off a little bit, and then finally, I think he dismantled it and crushed it and put it.
Wow, what is the man crazy?
Yeah, I would have put that one in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my gosh, that's a sin.
That was a keeper.
Yep, we offered Talladega to give it to him, but for some reason, I don't know if they didn't want it because Stanley got hurt in that race.
Oh.
In that wreck, and
so it was a reminder.
So they didn't want that, I don't think. But luckily Stanley came through, and he raced again somewhere else, and everything was good.
Well, Jimmy, we want to thank you for joining us this morning. We gotta run, but it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Are you going to be there this weekend?
Yes, I will be there.
All right, we're
We'll
going
be
to come
looking
over and
for
say
you.
hello
So
to you.
Saturday night this time,
Yeah,
right?
we're back
Saturday
to
night racing,
normal
back to the
schedule, Saturday
first
night.
regular schedule.
Yep.
Yeah, we're definitely coming.
Pulled pork sandwiches will be available as well. Just,
There you go.
It's all about the food, Jimmy.
You got to keep running out between the heats.
They got good sausage and peppers in the pits.
Oh, yeah, they do, yeah.
We're coming to the pits. I'm just saying.
On the wrong side of the track there.
Thanks, Jimmy. We really
Thank
appreciate
you very
it.
much, Jimmy.
thanks for coming on again with
on
us.
the
Good
air.
luck this season, too.
Yeah, and we'll see you
Okay.
Saturday night.
Anytime.
All right, thanks.
All right, see you later.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Jimmy
Horton.
from-
yeah,
just-
well, it's hard to
That
believe.
was. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I think you can still see the video on YouTube.
They show that video a lot of times, especially when they go to Talladega, when they do the pre-race stuff. They show his car because it flew. He hit the wall and it just went up and over and into the parking lot.